This week is Antibiotic Awareness Week. It is a time to promote the appropriate use of antibiotics. And this year, there's a focus on fighting antimicrobial resistance. Joining us now to explain it all is Dr. Madison Riojas with OSDH. Dr. Madison, good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. Let's start first with what is an antimicrobial resistance?
Yeah, absolutely. So antimicrobial resistance is when the bacteria have become smarter than the antibiotics that we have. So when we are trying to treat an infection, typically we're trying to make a match between the bacteria that's causing your infection and the antibiotic that will treat it. But the issue right now with resistance is that we're running out of antibiotics to make matches with those bacteria. So the bacteria have gotten smarter and they've figured out how to avoid what we have available.
Okay, when we talk about these infections becoming smarter, which ones in particular are you seeing circulating right now that are becoming resistant to antibiotics?
Yeah, so really any infection can be caused by an antibiotic resistant bacteria. Some really common ones seen would be like a urinary tract infection or a respiratory tract infection like a pneumonia. But really at the end of the day, any bacteria can become resistant to the antibiotics.
How is this happening, or why does it happen?
So there's a lot of things that go into it, but one of the big ones that we really focus on, especially this week, is overuse of antibiotics. So when we use an antibiotic to treat something that is not a bacterial infection, so if we treat a viral infection with an antibiotic, then we expose the bacteria that live in our bodies, the good bacteria, to these antibiotics and teach them how to avoid them. So by the time that a patient has a real infection with a bacteria, those bacteria are already smarter than those antibiotics and we can't use it anymore. So it's really important to avoid using antibiotics when we don't have to.
Okay, and let's talk about that a little bit more. When you get prescribed an antibiotic, how important is it to take the entire dosage to finish the medication that you were prescribed?
Yes, it's very important to take a whole prescription exactly how the prescriber writes it, because you don't want to only partially treat that infection. So if you kill some of the bacteria that caused the infection, but not all of them, the ones that are left know exactly how to fight that bacteria or that antibiotic next time.
Okay, and we bring this up because we know oftentimes people may think, okay, well, I feel better now, so I have leftover medication, I don't need to take it anymore, and then maybe they start feeling not too great in a few months and they have leftover medicine. Can they take that medicine, that the prescription again?
No, because it's so important, like going back to that matching, it's so important to match that antibiotic with the bacteria. So you really don't know the next time you get an infection if it's the same bacteria or if it's something different. And if we're trying to match it with a bacteria that's different than that antibiotic, we're not going to treat that infection and we're going to cause resistance somewhere else.
Okay, so then what is your advice to Oklahomans to make sure that they are being prescribed antibiotics when needed and making sure that they're taking them the way that they should be taken?
Yeah, so everyone can start by being empowered to have that conversation with your providers. Not pressuring healthcare providers to give an antibiotic just because you feel bad. Trusting their judgment when they say that you don't need an antibiotic, but also feel empowered to bring up that conversation. Another big conversation to be having with doctors is about allergies. So penicillin allergies, for example, are really common. 10% of the US population says that they have a penicillin allergy, but really only less than 1% have a true allergy. So talking to your doctor about what allergies you have to which antibiotic can help us identify what is going to be the best match for your bacteria. Because if we take out penicillins, we take out all of the related antibiotics. So, Keflex or penicillin-related antibiotics like amoxicillin, all of those are off the table if you have an allergy. So talking to your doctor about what your allergies look like and what your real indications for antibiotics are huge ways to impact antibiotic resistance.
Okay, a lot of really important information. Can people find more information or ask any questions? Can they find that information at OSDH?
Yes. We have a webpage that specifically has appropriate antibiotic use, and you can search for that and target to some of our resources and just extra information there.
Okay, perfect. Dr. Riojas, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.